welcome everybody to Bash at Berlin Reactions with the Wrestling Fan Network over here. I am one of your co-hosts, SOS Rampage. So much faster now with the quickness, with the absolute quickness is down there. I'm not gonna spell it out for you. If that's something that people complain about, we'll get on that. But it's right there. We'll get right into the action after I point over to that guy.
I am SOS Farm.
Look at you, and you got the pointer going. Okay.
Yeah.
I see you. But we are a little bit over 20 minutes out from Bash at Berlin. Just initial reactions before we get into the card.
I didn't know it was today.
Sleepyhead woke up an hour into matches.
I woke up and CM Punk was getting his ass whooped.
Yeah, I prepared as usual, as all of you have seen with the notes and the me and the leading and stuff like that. I was awake. I knew my stuff, but man, we stayed up late last night. We'll put out our TNA Emergence review, but we were up late last night watching the Iron Man match and all that good stuff. But more in another video, wherever it would be on that side. Yeah, that side. You click on there, there'll probably be like a thing that says TNA, and it'll probably have our faces, maybe with a different background and such. Just into the ether. But I thought overall it was a really, really good card. The crowd was real hot, like to start it with the Cody and Kevin match, and it just followed through the entire night. I mean, they had the gauge on the side, going up and down with how much the crowd was reacting the entire night. So it was nice to see kind of how big of a reaction some of these people were getting, especially ones that, like, yes, they usually get a good reaction, but it was definitely like there was an extra on top of it. It felt like today.
Cody have entrance?
Yes.
I'm gonna have to watch the first 2 or 3 matches back later, but I'm definitely looking forward to it.
It's a very good match as far as like the start, and just it was worked really well throughout. The KO arc is going to be very, very interesting to see what they do with that through TV. I don't know if this is because of the KO contract being up, the rumors of that. I don't. But the fact of, Cody having the bad knee after going for the Cody cutter, and Kevin just looking at him for the longest time, being like, come on, man, kick him in the knee. You want to kick him in the knee. And then once he got to the floor, that apron power bomb that, just like Wade Barrett was saying on commentary, has taken out so many wrestlers and would have been the end of it. He hooked him up for it. He sat there for a second, and then he just put him back down. And it's like, I want that old killer KO a little bit.
Kevin.
That's Kevin.
They bring to Berlin. That's not Kevin.
That's Mr. Owens right there, being a respectful friend right there. But he did show himself at the end. Finally, he did show himself a little bit at the end, smacking the camera away when they were zooming in, when they were hugging and stuff like that. He kind of gave a little one of those to the camera. So maybe they're leading into something. Maybe we're getting a little bit more of an aggressive side back.
That camera is not going to get you the championship.
Apparently they kept rubbing that in his face too. They kept rubbing that in his face that it's been like 8 years since he's won a title, and this is his first like championship match in a while and stuff like that, which, I mean, not wrong. It's not good to rub in our face though, because we are sad about it.
I mean, he fought Roman for the title at like 3 Royal Rumbles in a row. He's trying.
Yeah, it's that they even mentioned that on commentary too. That sneaky bloodline. He's been one of the worst casualties to that sneaky bloodline every single time. But it was a very, very good match. Cody got the reaction that he needed. Even Kevin got a good reaction for what was needed from him from the night. And I mean, they both worked out the match as good as you can possibly think it, with the right person going over. Even though, like I said, there were moments where they had me when he could have possibly kicked him in the knee or done that apron powerbomb. I was like, yeah, maybe. It's Triple H. You never know. He might try to throw some curveball in there. KO's his boy. One of his former boys. Not tonight. Speaking of not tonight, the women's tag title match, the domination of the Unholy Union, was stopped by Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair, which people, as they were saying on commentary, the superhero tag team. I mean, it's kind of not right.
Unstoppable force.
And we were seeing a little bit of inklings of it, what a heel Jade would look like in WWE, which, I mean, it's just a matter of time. She can only kiss babies for so long. I mean, she's got the big power, but she works much better as a heel, as we've seen in AEW.
Like the female Road Warriors.
I could definitely see that. And there's only a matter of time of, like, yes, this tag team is great, but it's all leading to Bianca and Jade fighting at some point, and it's being a big Mania match, probably, I would assume. And I just being, they don't even need a belt for that match. They can go do that, and it would be a main event attraction right there.
Gonna be the thing to split the friendship, though.
Naomi, maybe getting in one of their ears.
That would be pretty sneaky.
On top of, like, both of them being so dominant that, like, both of them should be, especially like a Bianca. I mean, someone getting in Bianca's ear saying, like, you were a main eventer, you were a singles world champion before. What are you doing running around with the tag team right now? Like, you're better than this, Bianca.
Someone telling you were bound to be a superstar, and Bianca's slowing you down.
And there's also that side thing of, I mean, that rumor and innuendo that I've heard a couple times, but I would really like them to follow up with if, you know, the Street Profits are going heel, get a Bianca going heel with them, getting Montez and Bianca asking for more, even just having Montez and Bianca go heel by themselves and be like, no, we want more. We've done this tag team now. We are the it couple in WWE now. Let's run with that.
I think Liv and Dominic have that spot right now, but
I think if they fought for it, there's a lot of, and that's what's going to be very interesting over the next 2 years or so, is like there's a lot of power couples that could kind of run things. I mean, you got Jay and Naomi, you got, you know, Jimmy and Naomi, and you got fucking, you know, Brandy and Cody, you got Miz and Maurice. There's a lot. Becky and Seth,
Terror Twins.
the decade-old difference of the Terror Twins.
They'll mess you up.
We got to that. But good on Jade and Bianca. We'll see where that goes in the future. Next, we had Drew and CM Punk in their strap match, which, as I've seen on Twitter, and I wouldn't have gotten, that was the all-in gear apparently for Punk.
Oh, what?
It's the same, yeah. So I mean, that's good on him. Good on him. That's an extra little pop.
So he only wears that in Europe?
That's his Europe gear now. Yeah. They made sure to say it on commentary. First win for CM Punk in a decade. Definitely was a brutal match. Definitely was Drew, you know, laying it on for a decent bit. And Punk, you know, hanging in there. He definitely won me over at the last bit because they kept playing with the bracelet. And I thought he was just going to go for the bracelet. I also thought that, like you initially thought, when he put him up for that third one, I thought, oh, here's that. I'm not losing to Cody's son. Putting him up on my shoulders, or Drew's just going. But no, it's even 1-1 with both of them. It was a very, very well worked match, and the right person went over once again. I mean, that is one thing you can say about the Triple H era, is he's not really about the swerves, bro. He's more of just, you know, what makes sense, I'm gonna book and just go with it.
So why can Drew not win in Europe?
I think that's the old WWE adage of you can't win in your home country, which, I mean, speaks bad for Cody going to Atlanta.
Oh.
In a pay-per-view called Bad Blood, where the man loves to bleed.
Yeah.
And you have Solo calling his shot. I mean, could be the time.
Bloodline.
Yeah, right. Sets up perfectly.
Man.
But anyway, Punk goes over. It's a good match. I mean, you seem to think that they're going to lead into some sort of Hell in the Cell, some sort of steel cage, whatever. We're not done here. I would be fine if we're done here. Because of how long the feud is gone, I'd like Punk to see some other people do some other stuff. Like, I'm not mad if they do a third one, but like realistically, I don't know how much Punk we have.
Yeah.
I don't want to risk. I mean, 3 matches, he's gotten hurt in one of them.
Yeah.
I don't want to, risk that too much. And I don't think he's looking to risk. I think he's only looking for those big money matches, which, I mean, that's makes sense for him at this point.
Yeah.
You're not going to see him showing up to Monday Night Raw. And when he does, it's going to be like, I can't remember, it was like Big Show and Sting when they would do Raw. The first time they've wrestled on Raw in 20 years, CM Punk. And it'll just be to put him over against some jobber.
Some jobber? Like a guy?
They'll bring R-Truth out. We'll roll him out here for Punk to,
It'll be like JD McDonough.
Yeah, okay, I can see that. But speaking, going into the Judgment Day and the Terror Twins, we have, I mean, what you thought would happen happened. The Terror Twins went over in pretty dominant fashion. Rhea was extremely over. Like, I think especially in Europe, but I'm very curious when we get back to the States what Rhea compared to Liv and Dom's reactions are, because it's like, it seems like even Liv and Dom are still over, even in places where they're supposed to be heels. They're people, you can't help but like them. They're very charismatic people as far as, like, no matter what. I mean, Dom said himself, he's the only person, I think, as a heel to get more heat and turn heel even more during what he's doing.
Turn heel while being a heel.
It's impressive. Like, and you can see everything is there for him. And I mean, his shot that he called, and I would love to see it, he called the John Cena at WrestleMania. I mean, that's money right there. Money all over that.
Great story.
Yeah.
John Cena check him and get him back on perspective, and Dom just not having none of it.
And it is nice in WWE to see that kind of female-male interaction, seeing, Rhea, because it's been rumored for a while, and it's kind of like that next step for Rhea, almost, of like, is she going to do the China thing? Is she going to start fighting? I mean, I think she is believable enough to go fight for mid-card titles at this point. I think she's 100% believable enough. It's just whether that's the direction they want to go, but I don't really see, unless Rhea's just going to keep going for that dominance of the women's division, I don't see what else there really is for her unless she is taking that next step over.
Rhea just joins the men's division one day. She's like, yeah, I'm in this Intercontinental tournament.
Especially in the Triple H era, I could definitely see it a lot more possible. Like, it's not too far-fetched in my mind, at least, for that to be a possibility.
But then go back to fighting women.
Do you think that this is over between Judgment Day and the Terror Twins, or do you think we're just starting?
I don't think it's over because Rhea really hasn't gotten her hands on Dominic yet.
Okay.
Got to get a riptide or go through a table, or she's got to do something to him.
You're basically setting up the idea that with this Bad Blood pay-per-view, I think it's in October, that they're going to go very gimmicky with this pay-per-view. There's going to be a lot of stipulation matches where we can kind of have Drew and Punk finish theirs in some sort of gimmick match, have, the Terror Twins and, Dom and Liv finish in some sort of gimmick match.
They'll probably be around Halloween Havoc for NXT, and they'll probably have the wheel.
Yeah.
So just wrap up in the same weekend.
No, it makes sense. That's kind of the right way to go about it. And then we finished off with that main event of Gunther and Randy Orton, which, I mean, it was both men worked over their perfect style of match. I think that Gunther is the perfect champion for Randy's kind of pace. It's kind of built best for him as that technician, as that ring general, to kind of have that slower pace match. And it kind of, helps Randy out as far as, like, I don't think Randy needs to be working fast pace matches. I don't think he needs to be taking huge bumps anymore. It's just a hard hitting style. As much as you can see in Randy's face, it pisses him off. It, like, that's what he enjoys, and that's what he needs at this point in his career with his back the way it is right now.
Yeah, Randy's just hitting the classics and doing, like, a lot of fake expressions. At this point, that's all he needs to do.
And bulking up, they said on commentary. Mans has gotten big over his career. I'll give him that.
Oh.
He's become a staple that I feel like, at least myself and a lot of people, were very tired of him a good probably 5 to even a decade ago. And now he's kind of had a little bit of a rebirth of, like, as long as he's hitting the hits, as long as he's out of the main event picture realistically, people are okay with Randy. it's when Randy's a realistic option for the world title when people are like, I'm done with Randy. I don't want to do this anymore because of that pace that he has. Because everybody's so used to what a Randy Orton title reign is at this point. Of like, that's the type of match you're going to get to finish off every show. Of might not be your cup of tea kind of idea, but he still brings in the energy. He still, for the past, I think they said he's 27 years or so, he's the biggest pops of the night have been Randy Orton. It's no matter what's the babyface or heel, that song hits and people lose it.
And he's outlasted John Cena. Like, Randy doesn't look like he's going to...
Do you think, where do you put Randy all time? Top 5, top 10?
I'll put him top 5. It's like every wrestler up as like the perfect example of like a wrestler and like how he works. So he's definitely top 5.
Yeah. And I think he definitely has that kind of, I almost want him to fit into that kind of, and I don't think he's ready for this yet 100%, mentally because of how he is and the kind of person he is. Him getting into that Flair role now of like that later in the career Flair of like being that manager type to some of these newer guys, being that kind of, dropping down to the mid card and having more of those like he does, especially now. It wasn't as much. I mean, he had it beginning, but he's grown more into that comedic timing and that comedic role of like he does have some chops in those facial expressions and stuff like that. And using him more in that light, I think would extend his career a lot more and give him that second level of, what people are kind of waiting for a little bit.
Yeah. Give him another layer of his character.
Do you think that feud is done since they shook hands and everything? And if so, who do you think Gunther's next challenger will step up?
I think that one is done. And his next opponent, I really don't know off the top of my head.
I would like a kind of, I don't want to say placeholder guy. We're still in kind of that in between spot right now. I think, I mean, it really depends on how the Intercontinental title shakes out. I think you have a couple guys that could be in that role as well. I think a guy that would have a great match with Gunther that hasn't been around much is Sami. Sami Zayn would be a great little person to put in there. Jey Uso is another one that's got a lot of steam that could really use that world title. He came so close to beating Gunther, so many times. Maybe give him that spot.
Beat Gunther for the IC title at WrestleMania.
Right. So, like, he has that, that background of maybe being able to do that and maybe jumping him into that world title. I mean, I have no idea with Seth's injury or if he's not injured. I mean, he's always around to pop into the title picture, or even a Punk or Drew if they're, done with what they're doing. But I think they still do have some time left.
I forgot about Seth.
Yeah. Any last words on Bash at Berlin?
Where was Tyson Fury?
Tyson Fury has not been as big in boxing anymore, so he's not a big deal as much.
Relevant.
That's why you had Obon Elliott.
Irrelevant.
Also, they're with the UFC now. UFC's different. UFC's not boxing.
Irrelevant. I wanted to sing a song at this pay-per-view.
That's probably why they kept Gunther in the ring, all right? They probably had him sing a song for the crowd.
I miss 8.
You can see him when we talk about our TNA Emergence review right on over there as Matthew Ringwald. But anyway, that'll be it for this video, you guys. I appreciate y'all. Any other content that you would like to see, we will be coming out with content more regularly now. We're going to try to up the quality of the content if we can. Sorry for the few lags that we did have in there. I know some things cut off here and there, but I mean, is the world that we live in. We appreciate you guys for tuning in. Like, subscribe, do all that good stuff. We're on Twitch, we're on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, X, whatever, all that good stuff. The name's right there. Looking at live streaming in the future once we get those subscribers up. So please, 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 if you could hit that subscribe, and then we can watch some live wrestling content and react, do one of these things live and all that good stuff. So appreciate y'all, and we'll catch y'all next time. Peace.